So I was going to make a playlist to do my last little task outside, and but then I had to give it a name. So it was I was trying to get my, it was like boop, like point blank period, work play all day. But this was just like a little, it's a lot of things. It's how I do this work that I do. And that was the thing too. It was like do chi, energy, and work play all day. But I just had another funny, like I got a really succinct, like one-liner, and as quick as I got it, I lost it. So I thought that was funny, and yeah, I'm just doing it's 2025, right? Yeah, 2025 version post Infinite Tower moments and whatnot, and interacting with my environment, which is mine but not my own, and seeing how my play, my work, my interaction, seeing how, the cause and effect there, and, just witnessing it all as much as possible, just like freeing it up. This is an experiment, part 2, the going to Kauai part 1. So like, that was, I knew that was going to happen, ish, for, 2 decades plus, no, 2, yeah, so that would have put me, about 2 decades, a little bit more, I think. My math, I'm not going to try to do that, but, and then this version, without getting too esoteric, taking down a path that will be, and will be hopefully taking in numerous ways on numerous days, but see, this is, for me, this is an experiment as well, but with smoking and playing with my playing, which I've gotten instruction that I just ignored. I try to make everything as fun as possible, as positive as possible. And, be an example of that for people as well. I'm a mirror. It was really nice talking to my medicine woman who, is just like, oh, here you go, I'll have some for you. I'm like, oh, okay. I had a thought about that, and, we are still, very few words are spoken, and it's just a new relationship, and it's both very deep and highly meaningful, and still at the surface, because this is my friend who I just met. She got a week before me in this shelter transitional housing situation. So but I just really appreciate what I wanted to say. Let me spell out the first 3 words. When I'm smoking, I'm circuitous, and I let my, I take you with me as much as is possible in me slowing the communication, or, you know, people call downloads, you know, what's taking place in my interior, me adjusting that to different audiences for, you know, different reasons. But and I push it to the limits for me, as to where I'm like, woo, okay, now I forgot what I was going, or, you know, and I can't circle back to it. But when you add cannabis to the mix, I have more fun just letting it ride, as well as, you know, this is my first try doing this. You know, somebody's rolling in a heavy thing. But yeah, so I'm taking you with me, and as before, as always, I want to keep everything as authentic as possible, and you know, as far as editing, all of it, production value. But yeah, so that's where I'm at, and that's enough talk on whatever that was. And I'm going to go back to making my playlist, but it just had to do with being present, being in this, you know, the center of a hurricane, which there's solace there. So think about people that are in really, you know, uncomfortable, painful, you know, emotionally, physically, whatever, escape from that is pleasurable, obviously. And so, shit, I totally forgot where this started. Oh, just being present, and being in the space of like, whoa, like, you know, the rest of the world is like chucking along, and you're like, woo, riding the, you know, rainbow unicorn somewhere else. And the level of which people can even exist in two different spaces. Hopefully you're following me, and if not, you know, ask me any questions. But this ties back to my friend Destiny, and it was so, even though like everything's pretty freaking surface, like as far as talks go, we were just standing out there, and I, you know, spread my feet a little wider apart, and across, you know, a parking lot painted thing, and just said, like, you know, with the work that I do, the energy work, spiritual work, etc., you know, and then I did the like stance, which is almost your starting stance for Kung Fu, but, you know, I said I straddle both of the, like, that's where I am to whatever degree at all times, as we all are. But that's another thing for another day. But for me, with decades and decades of practice, you know, of even being in one place, one energy, one environment, and exerting your awareness of that space. Like, check in with your body right now. How's your body feeling? Like, do you have any like you know, zizzing or an itch or whatever? You know, that's step one, is just like, what's your body saying to you in this moment? So, which is really, it has to be an effort, a desire that takes a lot of work, in how busy and noisy and everything life is, not just these days, but, you know, it's a version of it. You know, people, oh, the modern age. Well, you know, living outside in the pioneer days brings its own form of hypervigilance, or, you know, whatnot. So, navigating and starting to become aware of your awareness, and like, oh, I remembered that weird YouTube Sifu something something dochi playlist mentioned, like, oop, and I'm planting seeds. It's like I was listening to the Bible the other day. I was talking about the idea of Christianity and the word, the message from God, whatever you want to call it, but we're talking about the Bible. But it's like, those are seeds, and the parables about the seeds that are planted on, first ones, I think they fall to the wayside. So it's like, whoop, oh, they went down the side of the road. They're either going to disintegrate, or a bird's going to get them, or whatever. And then putting some seeds in a rocky. So, yeah, you're going to have issues there with roots happening. And then there's semi-decent soil or combo, those little daisy things that pop up through the concrete. That's a bad example, but that's probably the next example. But they can start to make roots, but it's still like, whew, it's a rough environment to try to, it's going to take a lot of effort or, miracle for that to happen. But then it's like the word, what I'm doing right now, my word, passing on, quote, the word, thinking about Dochi's word. I almost started singing there. But that's funny. I was like, I surprised myself. That's just when I'm not thinking about recording, I'll start singing. And I'm always like, shit, I wish I had a recorder, because I just spit out the best little whatever. But yeah, so I'm working on that too, mixing the old school and the new school technology. But so going back, and that's a good place to wrap up, is planting. So if you backtrack a little, look over your shoulder, how did we get here? Oh, that weird YouTube person, or shit happens with the little cutie face. Mentioned, let me check in with my body right now, step one. And then if you're like, oh, that was cool, then go just beyond your body, and you're like, what do you hear? Any birds chirping? What do you see? And I'm working on I'm calling it a Bodhi box for the moment, but just a toolkit that I can put together, because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I'm just like, I'm being led, I'm running ahead, I'm just doing my thing and just trying to be in as much flow as possible, while dealing with some really fucking challenging, feet on the earth stuff. Destiny and I have saying, I straddled those words. I am used to and have been practicing communicating while being, in here or there, or, which is funny because that's all, if you're present, then boop, it's easy peasy. You just go with the flow. Like the movie Palm Springs, which I rewatched after finishing The Resort season 1. Amazing. And I was like, oh, I really want to check out the writer of that. And because what to me and my things that I've experienced, you can't, I didn't understand things fully, the, woo-woo-y, different dimension, channeling, communicate, all of it. It is, shit, I lost my place. Communicating. like I said, I'm trying to be as present with the, creation and transportation digitally, the publication of my TV station. I'm trying to be as present with that, but I'm just, like I said, flying solo I didn't say flying solo, but, which I'm not, but, I have, really challenging life. Like, there's a lot of stuff which if I could just do this, all day and boop, stick it on there, which I'm working on. But I'm not in my permanent home, so I have to be more of my headspace has to occupy that practical world, mundane space. And then I start feeling funky and I'm starting to get sick, and I'm like, okay, play. That's my prescription, is play. And for me that means, cleaning out my trunk and thinking like, oh, I've got some cat food in there, and I've got some bird seed and my first aid kit. That's where it all started. But like then thinking like, oh yeah, I should put a little dog food in there. Oh yeah, it was because I have, Narcan in my first aid kit, and the bandages and stuff, that there's mold, and I'm like, oh shit, it's like all my band-aids and I'm like, these are definitely not sterile, which that's surgically, it's pretty important, obviously. But I even thought about with the mold, I'm like, if I were bleeding to death, on the streets of Portland, and somebody hopped out of their car and like, I've got some moldy, bandages, that like stops the bleeding, and you live. This is like, okay, we could be in a philosophy class. Even if there's, you got an infection or something, from the moldy Band-Aids, which would you prefer? Somebody says, we had a thing in our class today, so, moral dilemma, and there's somebody who I couldn't see. I was at the end of the table. I guess I'm not wrapping this up. Let me, make sure, because my front door is open. Yeah. All right, my car's all good. I'm like, why am I right there? I was pulled in between two chores, but because I'm playing, I was like, oh, wait a minute, I can make that choice to keep, because this is my work, I say play, but this is going to be fun for me to listen to. That was the first thing of my instructions from my non-embodied teachers and helpers and all that good stuff. But when I'm in this mood, I like to say Kuan Yin and the Funky Bunch. But the PTB. So with this, it started with Kuan Yin being in a physical body that I had access to through my mom. But, as I am getting older and people are dying, Kuan Yin was already like, it's a debate whether or not she did this earthly gig, which I know, and I'd love to have somebody, or me in the future, if I ever start trans-channeling and, getting a recording, I'm betting whoever, yes, I think Kuan Yin definitely was a physical embodiment. I have changed my opinion a little bit, because it's like, oh, she's the female Buddha. Like, even how I describe her, which it's really amazing. Kuan Yin's got, like, her publicity. I know I'm a part of that, but she's getting her own. She's a top billing. She's been the female Buddha. She's a female aspect, but it's just she's always like, and she's okay with that, and that's fucking the beauty of Kuan Yin. But right now I'm acting as her, New York publicist, and for her, it's my job to, hey, and in her back dealing secret, more people realizing they know Kuan Yin and communicating with her and being in her energy and her love, and hopefully I'm, at least for this little segment, if not, the whole thing, which I'm pretty sure we're still recording, but yep, that's where I live, and it takes less words for me, and which it helps that my whole forearm is Kuan Yin, because I can just boop if I'm talking to somebody, and their verbiage, I can't think of the doctor speak, lawyer speak, you know what I'm saying. If you don't, it doesn't matter, but word group familiarity with Kuan Yin, it's like either it's a full lead in to oh, are you Catholic? Okay, well, Virgin Mary, blah blah blah, and then it's like, she's the East's version of non-scriptural Virgin Mary, all of that. Mother, she just is love, and I didn't realize it until I did in the course of, this project at whatever, manifestation it was, writing or recording or what. I think I was telling the story of Kuan Yin opening her eyes for me. I have my bundle of sage in my pocket. But let's see, wait. Was that? I think it was last year. Anyway, very recently, but I feel like it was, within the last year, maybe two. I realized that Kuan Yin was my first, maybe only, but I take that back, because there's this person that smiled at me, this old man in the Safeway. I think I might have been on the verge of tears, or I don't know, or just smiling my thing, but it was dark fucking day, December, when I lost my student housing. Merry Christmas! First Christmas already, not shared as my family and its extensions, but then it turned into homeless. Yeah, you got into school, things are going well. Oh, really big medical crisis happening during this period that I'm trying to just I'm fucking showing up. And but that is, I'm just feeling myself. I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm definitely sending. Yeah, woo. I hope this is fun for you. But hold on, I lost it. Kuan Yin, telling the story. Oh yeah, okay, so yeah, unconditional love. Like, wow, that is what unconditional love is. And yeah, that's who she is. And we work together. So, you know, I definitely do not have it nailed. Like, you know, although I don't know. I haven't had the opportunity to like be fully conscious and have a like just to like shoot the shit, because it's little like boop, boop, like I'll get something that's, you know, or even like a lot of stuff and it comes in like like the speed at which things are going on are it's really like woo, okay, like trying to consciously channel and share this in the present me right now in my hotel room. I'm recording my thing, like, you know, but so if I am, you know, having a conversation at like non-human speed in taking place in a human body, who happens to be a Gemini, and like I've been I was a little chatterbox, you know, from the time I popped out and could string a sentence together. So, yeah, words are my thing, even like before I knew it, like I always knew it. So my rate of receiving is like, I've been building that muscle since I was a kid. I've also been, you know, doing the like, it's not a muscle, it just is. And I'm trying to turn this loosey-goosey, like, I'm a communicator, I love you, I love to communicate, this loosey-goosey, jello, wiggly, jiggly thing into a muscle where I can like, boom, zap, like, there's a, you know, your condensed little version of it. Hope you're following me. If you're still here. See, that's the beauty, is I know that you will be, like, whenever you get here. But if you're one of like the early people, you're gonna be like, oh yeah, I'm so fucking dialed in, first subscriber, whatever. I don't pay attention to those things except for when, you know, I need to, which I try to make that need as little as possible. But so where are we? Oh my God, this is only 28 minutes. All right. So when it's like these things will be like, oh my God, it's been an hour. But so me training that wiggly jiggly jello woobly doobly to, okay, I really want to share this with these people who are not in front of me, you know, and that's when it was like, okay, if I'm in a room, if I'm having a one-on-one, like, we are sharing space together and you know it. And apparently, you know it if I'm not sharing space with you, but you want to, or you're in that space. And I found out, and I just found out again, but now I get it, which is me working that muscle, that I can be really intimidating, which I'm like, I get it. And then like, I know, like, all right, for a minute, we're going to shift energy gears. And I'm so curious once I get feedback to see what kind of feedback I get. Like, because I do this when I'm face to face with people, and it's like, they're like, whoa, you know, or like your arm hair will stand up. And, you know, mine is right now, just, I'm super excited about, because I thought about, I can get feedback. For the people who are like, oh my God, yeah, or maybe I felt something where it's like, you want to, but it's totally okay if you don't. And with working with me, be honest. Like, just trust me and just be honest with me if we're going to work together, because it serves you better. And if you're like, because I used to be like, oh yeah, I know who that person is? And I'm like, look it up. It was much harder back in the day, which is, whoop. But don't fake it. Like, just, like, who ends up the fucking geniuses of it all are the people who show up excited, but like, I don't know anything, and I'm perfectly okay with my level of not knowing about energy work, whatever, physics, history. It's a different language. There's so many aspects to this, and communication is everything. And even if we don't like have any like back and forth, and this is it, maybe that's all you need, because I like get that little hits from people who are like, there's a shot for you, like, I'm seeing this like cube of, like somebody who's running a fucking 3 continental, whatever that would, obviously you couldn't run it. Oh yes, you could. No, North America. Yes, South America, Central America, North America. Bam. And you can almost go up on that ice where it used to be a land bridge and an ice bridge. That's how you can cross over from Alaska to China, and then you're into Asia and Northern Europe. And did I just do something real wonky there? If my geography just was so off, that's hilarious. And but I just went up through the continents across Alaska. Yeah, it is. It's China. No, is it China? No. Okay, that's why I knew I was wrong. It's the Soviet Union, right? No, but see, that's connected. Mongolia. I'm totally just like taking notes right now with you. But knowledge, being authentic. And that really, when I'm like dialing it in, like I figured out, Kuan Yin is all of those things and more. To me, it's like I call her my second mom, but she really, truthfully, if I could only pick one label, and it's for the purposes of this, she is and has been my Sifu or Shifu. So yeah, and that started 41 years ago. I think I was like, was it a little before that? But no, yeah. 12, that's the age. It was like, oh, where do you fall in the calendar year? I'm right in the middle. So, but yeah, this all started, it started for me at the same time. It started for my mom, but I didn't realize it because I was a kid, and this was all taking place in my house. And basically it's when my mom wait, hold on. It's not even like transitioned. Yeah, that was probably the word I was looking for. But from just like business life to, still business life, but like spiritual channeling. Oh, that is a business as well. Oh, that is the thing that I put all of my blood, sweat, tears, energy, See, for me, that has been, a difficult and very long transition. Because, but my mom only did that and never stopped doing business. They did retire. My mom saw where her spiritual channeling could go. People that worked with her went, and I would love to know if I, somehow can chat with Oprah to track down this information, which I'm sure she could figure it out, get somebody to do it. But I know that some channelers were on the show, and but I kind of feel like that might have been a couple years later. I don't know. That's why I'm curious. You know, both of my parents are quote dead, so you know, my brother has all of the family. He's the family archivist, but so I don't know what he has. I have nothing is basically the the moral of the story. Is I have a few pictures. I have, you know, the ability to track down information just like everybody else does, but you know, that's one of those things. And like things that happen pre, you know, public net. But whereas Oprah could, you know, she could, if that information is available, you know, and could be checked out, she could do it. Because she was just like right in that bubble of the, you know, like I said to my kiddo yesterday, it's like, if our generation, we're the first ones that like fully had like video games, arcade, you know, which is, it's such a blessing to be a part of, in between, you know. A lot of people don't like it. Change is hard. Hopefully you can still hear me. I'm like wearing the recording. Probably right in my earbuds. I'm a little dehydrated. Let's check my tea here. I can't wait to hear back from the first person who hears this in comments, and like showed up. Synchronicity stumbled here. You know, found me because I'm starting to leave little seeds. I always said breadcrumbs, but it's, you know, and seeds, and have in my evolution, whatever, this fucking, you know, enlightenment, you know, the quote label title level, where spiritually woo-woo people, just everybody, because that's like, you know, what I was saying about Kuan Yin, it's like people know her name, you know. It's like, oh, could I potentially offend a whole bunch of future audience members by saying, say her name? I don't care, you know. And that's the thing, is like, we need to get beyond all of that shit, because it is so stupid and it's such a waste of time. But again, you know, I was irritated and by the gender, the they them, which it confused me. Like, if you're talking, this is like before it was, you know, before it was more mainstream, and not just like people who are allies or, you know, in that community, in that group, who only people that have gone through that experience can fully, you know, have that understanding, which is kind of where my whole thing started, chatting today. Anyway, yeah, it's for me, like, just what I do is, I'm like a little peacock spider, like, you know, I make connections and I share them, and if you're a visual person right now, I'm sending you images of like little pulses of it's, you know, I come from a place of unconditional love. And even when, you know, somebody who for whatever reason would want to say, no, you don't, I do, even if it may not look like that, because that's, and this is the big haha of, you know, I would give myself that title graciously, cautiously, of reaching that, like, oh, I can hang that trophy on my wall, of past the dark night of the soul, all of that, like, Christ consciousness, I say, like, yeah, I know that, and leaving it right there, not saying, like, of course we all know that, because that's all that we are. It's a matter of remembering or learning or blah, blah, blah. But so leaving all of those knowledges aside, that's where I'm coming from. And it's like, I used to say this as a fucking, probably not as a kid, definitely as a tween, teen. It's like, we could change the entire world. That was back when I thought only of a world, in an instant. You know, we could like meta fucking viral the shit out of this. And that's the thing, is why, like, with my daughter, she's like, oh, if you could make a viral video. I'm not saying this is it, but shit, why not? Let's do it. But if we all agree, and this was, you know, pre-internet, social media, cell phones, all that shit, if we sent out flyers, you know, and like set it on the news, and like, all right, Tuesday, June, whoopsie, hold on, see, that's playing on my, I just touched my earbud, I think, is what happened, but, so I don't know, and hopefully it's not gonna make me lose this whole recording, but whatever, again, like, but if we, old school, you know, say in the 1980s, when I would say this, if we all, you know, agreed, you know, let's pick my birthday, why not, June 15th, you know, 1984, at wherever you are in the world, you know, at 2:22 p.m., we're all going to decide we're going to make that change. And this is like quitting smoking. It's like, this is changing your life in any way, anyway, but like, you know, and that's the thing. It's like, once you are here, you realize, well, it all applies to everything all the time. So, you know, for me, separating, oh, my life from my work, my trying to monetize this, I'm like, well, how do I do that? You know, with my public art stuff, I used to just have a donation box, you know. People would, hey, you know, here's $5, here's $20, here's, for the same little whatever I was working on, like cardboard with pastels, or, you know, whatever art supplies I decided to bring with me to plop down in public and do that. And other people would be like, oh, I love that, like, oh, that looks just like whatever, I don't know, I didn't draw puppies, but whatever it was, like, that looks just like my dog, like, I don't, oh, here, take it, you know. And I've done that with paintings after an art show. I gave a huge painting to I don't think he was homeless, but he might have been, but one of the neighborhood guys in Belltown, um, who, that's why I was like, I think I would have known if you actually were homeless, but, it's just like the people that you see in your neighborhood. And, yeah, like after my show, I'm like, I didn't feel like carrying the painting home. And it was one when I started to do things that were a little more like reproducible, more like graphic paintings, stickers, whatever. So I knew that I didn't have the attachment. I used to say, like, I didn't sell my paintings. Sometimes it's like, even my overalls, I had so many people want to buy my painting overalls that it was kind of a joke. But I could totally see why they wanted them, which is why I was like, I don't care how much money you give me. Clearly, I, and hadn't had to, that wasn't a question for me at that point in, need or even perceived need, like, oh, I need my, what is it? My brand of peanut butter, like, oh, the store brand, that was like, I hadn't even gotten there with food. So, what the fuck was I talking about? Giving away my artwork. My overalls. Yeah, it was like, I loved my overalls so much more than, probably, it was never more than like hundreds, but, we'll say, $1,000, no way. 10,000, like, okay, I'm in the considering it range because I'm not crazy, and these are overalls, they're mine, I can make that happen again. But yeah, it's all connected, and economics is so tricky, and that's why the path that has led me to here, doing this now in this way, still not dialing in like how you're gonna pay me other than giving opportunities, like, oh, here's my fucking Cash App, you can send that to anybody. But a year ago, 2 years ago, I wouldn't have been comfortable even just saying that, because I'm like, oh, somebody's going to think that I'm just saying this. And authenticity is really important to me. But it's also like, I let go of that because I'm like, really? I had already gotten over the, like, if somebody's going to hear something I say and, take huge offense to it, well, cool, don't listen. Or, if you do, then clearly you're getting something out of it. But yeah, so yeah, it was like a fucking struggle for me. And now I'm like, I don't have those motives. And for the first time in my life, really, I had my character not even called into question, because that's what's so crazy about it is, but still, I'm open to that possibility. But it was, my character was painted in such a way that in a professional setting, in a legal setting, in court, somebody had the opportunity to receive that false information about me. And it was really painful. The beauty of it was that in court, and just as with everybody, I've only had people threaten it, but like, I check out every time. So to me, that's what I'm about. And if, financially, obviously I want to have an income. I want to have a home, the things that, we all want. But right now I don't have them, and I'm okay with that. And I'm still doing this, but that has shifted in me over the decades. Is like before it was like, I was just grew up with Kuan Yin and channeling, and oh yeah, it's gonna be your fucking future. I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever. Deny, while at the same time walking the path of my, spiritual journey, life journey, them becoming more and more integrated, more and more, oh, it's all the same, more and more, you think you are an unconditional lover, boom, 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 boom. Let me show you how you're not, but not like that. That energy was very like combative. The way Kuan Yin has worked with me and the other people that it's the PTB, it's powers that be, it's easy peasy for me. You call it your spiritual team. Other yous will, God. Other use the source. Our collective consciousness. Young, there's a rose by any other name. They're all the same. It's love. It's God. It's, me shedding the last of those. Like, I know where I stand on all of those issues, including being open to realizing that, like, oh, no, I don't. Or like, I had never thought about that, to question myself, It's like everything that we're all these separate us's and them's, we're trying to like say, hey, woo, white fragility, privilege, power, dynamics, oppressed history, boom, boom, there's so many things, and they're all valid, and they're all good goals. But if we start with the grassroots, be the change that you want to see in yourself, in your friendships, in your job. I'm just gonna, if you're not here, you already checked out, and I'll see you in the 101 class if I ever create it. But it's like, focus on, for me, I think my greatest sphere of understanding and translation, and perhaps my most vital function, if I'm doing my Ikiban, that's not it. Where do these things collide? Your purpose, your skills, and the need. I guess we don't all think about life that way. But if you do, yeah, that's why you're here. But if you stumble here from something that I made a comment on, some very corporate people, like that show. I love that show. With the ad guys and the life coach, Billions. If you guys have stumbled here from Billions, I'm gonna make you pay. You're gonna be how I implement my trickle down, share the pie, is, if I'm doing a group trip, spirit animal whaleboat, that was my idea that I had for my birthday. And we're doing a retreat or whatever, a weekend thing, or, we're going to take I can't think of that fucking spa in Tucson, the people who have gone to rehab for 30 grand a week, you guys because you're awesome and you want to, are gonna put into the pot that helps this thing grow that I'm building here. If you build it, what you put in my pocket or my LLC or whatever is gonna pay for the people who their version of rehab is they last time they tried to get clean, they lost their car, and that's where they were in the process, and it got down to the you're just shitting yourself in Portland, and because this is a liberal town, some people might have built a little tent around you, and so it's the same issue, if we look at the drugs and the mental health and self-medicating, the same ingredient, the drugs that got you to your bottom, or your something needs to change here, or sayonara. But as you unpeel the layers, the causes, while they maybe look different, what your family looked like and your trauma, and but it's all about love and the lack of love and how that manifests, as far as in the needing more of, or the getting too much of, or whatever. Those are the things that boop, whatever your version of the drugs, the whatever, got you to the bottom. And there we're all realizing from different places that we're all going to that, we all want that same thing, and it can look so different. Like my lighthouse, my healing center idea is like, really, it's like, all right, give me country and let me see what I can do with it. But I just want to, from a planning place, but it's the integration of, it comes from a place of understanding. And for me, experience and walking in these worlds and down the streets of these different cities in these worlds, that I see, oh, you guys are exactly the same. Oh, your mom did that to you? Well, guess, it's like, it's so fundamental, it's so basic, and that goes back to my little teen dream idea of June 15th. Let's all fucking, hands around the world, Forrest Gump style, like, let's make a change. And that's the thing is, and I started to say that, is making any kind of a change. You're gonna fucking, at some point, you're gonna be too tired, or too whatever, or too blah, 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 blah. And, oh, fuck, I wasn't unconditional love in this instance. And if you're on this path, then you're going to have the opportunities to get those lessons. Like, boop, 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 you're looking for them. So the more you look for them, the more you accept them, integrate what you learned, give yourself grace, is something that, for me, was one of my last learnings. Is it easy for me to have compassion and grace, and that word wasn't even in my vocabulary. But that's the thing with, the us's and them's are, we're getting closer, guys, but we're also, we're not done, we're all like, okay, if we all get to the, like, I sign up for that. But like, when you stumble, and like, it really, really, really does come down to put on your own oxygen mask first. And the sooner you do it, And the more you realize how beneficial, that it's not selfish, that self-care, self-love, all of these things, it's not selfish. And if anybody's telling you it is, they don't understand yet. And they're not ready to, join the fucking club. And for me, it's like, fuck. Sometimes I'll drop all the way back to the beginning. 420, yay! Yeah, so once you reach this level, like, yay, I'm enlightened. Well, guess what? There you are. Now what? It's just, it's the wheel. It's it's not linear. It's a spiral, slinky, cone, valley, 6-directional, pew. And really, like, the only thing is the center. And you hit that center and woof, guess what? It's one little bean, dun, boom, bouncing on a drum. And then there's the waves, the energy waves that come out from that. Like, if you're, sound waves, realize that. And that's all that stuff about, like, your thoughts, the power in them at the most basic level is knowing that you are nothing but power, an instrument that is, an amplifier and a receiver, and balancing your position. But if you know who you are, like, boom, it's about love for me. Point blank, period, and then ellipses, It's that simple, like, become who you want to be. Don't ever stop working on it. And when you start to, like, sway, okay, check your flow. Are you, like, being pulled in a growth direction? Test it out. That's where discernment is key. And, all of these things, I've discussed them and I will discuss them. And I'm not even going to listen to this little sucker or finish this playlist. I'm just going to throw this up on YouTube. And then I'll listen to it. All right. Hopefully, hopefully we're here. Oh yeah, that was only an hour. That's nothing. All you people are like, I'm sorry my thing's so long. I'm like, not sorry. I want, like, if you're only throwing up a little short thing, I'm like, oh, like, yes, sometimes those bite-sized bites are perfect. But so often I'm looking for more, more depth, more length, more, whatever. Yeah, so I'm just let's do this thing together. All right. This is where I start to feel silly. I'm like, okay, what mood am I in? With the, like, it's all started with the, namaste, fuckers. ... All right, I'm out of here. Peace.